FFA, formerly Future Farmers of America, and 4-H are still very much in North Country schools, making connections between agriculture and young people. But schools have pulled back from agriculture classes as the number of people directly involved in farming has plummeted in just a generation or two. In Salmon River, near Akwesasne Mohawk territory in northern Franklin County, the school is trying to bring kids back in touch with the basics of farming, and in the process, feeding kids in the cafeteria. That's today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day is provided by CCOM Credit Union, serving the financial needs of people throughout northern New York and Vermont. In person, online at ccom.org, and on your smartphone.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Thursday, June 22nd. First up, in a move that shocked the northeastern North Country, Nova Bus has announced it'll close its bus production and manufacturing facility in Plattsburgh by 2025. Nova Bus is one of the North Country's biggest manufacturers and employs more than 350 people. According to WCAX News, Nova Bus plans to focus on their more profitable facilities in Quebec. Local officials say they were stunned by the company's announcement. Gary Douglas, president of the North Country Chamber of Commerce, said in a statement that he was totally surprised and had been anticipating the company's growth with the national transition to electric buses. In a statement, Assemblyman Billy Jones called the news devastating and related it to the impact of the closures of Pfizer and the Plattsburgh Air Force Base. Nova Bus President Ralph Axe said in a statement that the company will try to help employees find other jobs. A new financial forecast released by the governor's budget office shows future deficits doubling next year. From Albany, Karen DeWitt reports.
Just over 4 months ago, when Governor Hochul unveiled her state budget proposal,
thank you very much,
the current budget was balanced, and the projected deficit for next year was around $5 billion.
We set the table for what should be one of the most prosperous times in our state's history.
Now, the governor's budget office says it has nearly doubled to $9 billion, and it's rising to over $13 billion the following year. The budget office released its revised numbers earlier this month. Patrick Orecki with the watchdog group Citizens Budget Commission says it's the biggest gap the state has faced since the Great Recession. He says in the months between Hochul's address and the budget passage in early May, fiscal storm clouds were gathering.
We knew it as the budget was being negotiated, when the budget was enacted, that there were out-year gaps on the horizon. So it was a big concern, and it's why we urged some spending restraint at the time.
Lawmakers did not heed that warning. The deficit is partly a result of increased spending during the COVID-19 pandemic, fueled by a large infusion of federal relief funds sent to New York. The budget office says tax receipts are also coming in at a rate lower than anticipated. The governor has begun talking about the upcoming shortfall and how it influences her decisions about spending money now. For instance, she spoke against a bill being considered by the state assembly. It would provide health care coverage for undocumented immigrants. Hochul says the state can't afford it.
The warnings about our finances are troubling, and we saw a reduction of $6 billion in the month of March from our normal tax receipts.
Hochul, during her tenure, has built up the state's reserve fund. It now totals $19 billion. Orecki, with Citizens Budget Commission, credits the governor with significantly increasing that fund. But he says it's supposed to be used in a true economic downturn or an unforeseen emergency.
So just using reserves to plug gaps that you built when times were good is not how you should use reserves no matter what.
Citizens Budget Commission is offering some advice to the governor and lawmakers. Orecki says Hochul should be vigilant about controlling spending and should reject any new bills by the legislature that add to the state's spending burden. And he says next year it's likely that the governor will be presenting a more fiscally austere state budget. In Albany, I'm Karen DeWitt.
Governor Hochul aims to crack down on illegal cannabis shops, saying they're a barrier to creating a thriving and equitable cannabis industry.
They are driven by individuals who are flagrantly violating the law. They are creating competition where there should be none.
Illegal shops can face higher fines, and if they operate after receiving a violation, Hochul said the state can now pursue a court order, shut them down, and padlock the store.
We're building an equitable system like no other, something we all should be proud of. But let people know we have zero tolerance for the bad actors who are standing in our way of full success.
A legal cannabis dispensary will have a QR verification tool posted by the entrance, allowing customers to confirm the location is state licensed. The New York State budget includes $5 million for additional Office of Cannabis Management staff to enforce regulatory requirements and close down illicit stores. It used to be all North Country schools offered classes in agriculture. Most people were farmers at one time or lived near one. Today, those classes have become more scarce. At one school in northern Franklin County, students are growing their own vegetables for school lunches and learning about agriculture, sustainability, and nutrition. NCPR intern Kelly Daphnis reports.
The Ag Lab at Salmon River is a little annex off the school library. It smells like fresh potting soil and chemical fertilizer. Kids are busy growing and harvesting vegetables.
We're planting lettuce right now. This is a seed plate.
10th grader Carissa Lindley is showing us how to plant lettuce using sheets of metal with rows of holes in them.
And then you put a seed in every one of the big holes. We cover it back up with soil, and then we put it on our trays.
On the other end of the room, Jonathan Delisle, an 11th grader, and Will Lazor and Brennan Oakes, both 10th graders, are shoveling potting soil. They're adding some worm castings into the mix.
So just makes it more so the plants grow better.
The kids chase around their class mascot, a rabbit named Jack Jack, who they'll feed lettuce to.
We give him a little bit every now and again from a tray that's going to be compost. We'll clip it and we'll give it to him. Yep, he has whole free range of the courtyard. Yeah, he's living a life.
This Ag Lab course is a little unusual for Salmon River. It's funded by the Healthy Heart Network in Saranac Lake, and it is the only ag-based program offered here.
There wasn't really a whole lot of ag classes in Salmon, so it's about the closest you can get right here. I like it.
That's Brennan Oakes. Brennan's mom is Michelle Oakes, the class facilitator. She also attended Salmon River when she was a kid.
Well, I was in high school. I was involved in the FFA, and I took ag classes. And so when I came back in 2014 and found out that we no longer had an ag program, I was a little bit taken aback by that, because up until that point, ag had been such a large part of our school history.
Oakes hopes that this course will start to revitalize ag education at Salmon River.
It really is surprising sometimes how many students really don't necessarily understand where their food comes from.
Oakes says that the goal of this class is to give students the space to learn about how growing food works and to use sustainable practices in their own lives. Plus, Oakes wants to keep providing a space for kids who are interested in farming and spending time outdoors.
2 of those kids in that classroom right there are my kids, and one of them has really been a driving force for me in saying, Mom, there's nothing that I feel connected to right now. In getting this program going again, I feel like we are, again, building that foundation, but also allowing all of those other students who struggle during the day to find a connection have something to look forward to and want to be here for.
Oakes says that the class has been very popular with the student body. She says the kids love tending to the lettuce and tomato plants every day. Oakes says that they get to see their impact on the school community when they buy lunch at the cafeteria.
And then I'll have students come in and say, I ate your lettuce today in the cafeteria, which is kind of cute.
So far, her class has provided over 55 pounds of lettuce to the Salmon River cafeteria. Oakes hopes that the ag program will expand within the next few years. She plans on building a greenhouse and creating a mentor program where second-year ag students can teach newbies all they've learned about growing their own food. Maya Mackey and Kelly Daphnis, North Country Public Radio.
The story was co-reported by Kelly and fellow NCPR intern Maya Mackey. Great job on their first feature. We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Eddie Lawrence of Moira and Eric Pasternak of Bloomingdale. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.